The seat of thought is the brain, and each person speaks words in his mind as he acts. A person's thoughts, the words spoken in his mind, can be heard in his inner ear. A person's outer ear differs from the inner ear in the following way. The outer ear is the organ of hearing traditionally for all people, and the sounds that are heard are measured in decibels. Sounds do not cause pain unless they exceed a threshold, say 100 to 120 decibels, and above this threshold they cause deafness and possibly severe trauma. The inner ear has been neglected in decades of research and has been considered only a component of the ear. We have documented that the inner ear is the seat of sounds produced by thoughts. Every thought of a man is heard in his inner ear in the form of a distinct voice. Even if a man does not say anything in his mind consciously, he still produces a distinct voice in his inner ear by the simple fact that he sees, reads, hears something. An electronic device located in Romania, in a place that remains to be determined, has been emitting for several years. The low-frequency sound waves emitted reach variable targets. People, citizens of Romania, who are listened to in a way that is completely unheard of before. Their most intimate thoughts are probed. Everything they think is heard in their inner ear. A man sitting at a computer and writing is intercepted by a team of remote agents in a double way. One, the sounds produced by his thoughts are taken from a distance from the inner ear through a process that will be described below. Two, the images seen by his eyes are in turn taken from a distance through a process that will also be briefly described. The low-frequency sounds emitted have the quality of radio microwaves. The sounds possess an ordering sound that gathers them into a beam and allows them not to diffuse in the atmosphere, arriving compactly at the meeting with the target. The sounds take over the voice of the mind in this way. The mind, when it says something, causes interference in the sound wave of the emitter. The sound emitted by the emitter is devoid of variations, amplitudes. It is like a white sheet on which someone puts a stamp. The sound wave is sent continuously and returns continuously to the emitter with new and new oscillations caused by each letter, word, intonation of the speaker, and one can thus rehear what a person said from hundreds of kilometers away. I mentioned above that the program also sees the images seen in real time by the target person, not just listens to their thoughts. For this purpose, other sounds are given to the retina area through a process called triangulation, also used in the production of photographs in the past. The sounds can be impregnated with color, to use a figure of speech, since I cannot explain it in terms of advanced physics very well. The sounds reach the place where the image of a person is formed on the retina and take the attributes, the respective color code pixel by pixel, and somehow recompose the image instantly when the sounds return to the transmitter. The transmitter is a type of server the size of a closet. The room in which it is located is isolated by a fake fire escape from the rest of the building. There is a video camera in the room that can transmit images of the target person directly to the retina. The project team chooses an image on a computer and gives it to the camera, meaning that low-frequency sounds have the quality of being able to take an image with them and transmit it hundreds of kilometers away to the retina of the target person. In front of the video camera is one person, and at the computer with images, another person. These two work in the so-called technical department. On the left side of the room, near the door, there are 4 or 5 people who are called remote agents and who speak into the microphone, and the target instantly hears in the inner ear what they say. On the other hand, the remote agents hear in the outer ear what the target says in his mind, the target's thoughts. So they listen to what a person is thinking and tell him in the inner ear, from hundreds of kilometers away, what they want almost continuously. The program is called Remote Action Program for communicating with a target by emitting low-frequency sound waves, generically called soul catcher, the one who captures the soul. Initially, the program was located only on NATO servers in Brussels. It was taken without notification by the heads of the Romanian Foreign Intelligence Service and used abusively on Romanian citizens on Romanian territory. The team that manages the project consists of employees of the Romanian Intelligence Service and the Special Telecommunications Service. The person in Romania who last received this project is Andrei Hagherlacher, a sociologist and head of promotion at the Faculty of Sociology at the University of Bucharest. The project was given to him starting on March 25, 2020. Previously, he was caught in the program with the help of a team that went to the site in the city of Slobozia in Romania. A single sound transmitted by the transmitter has the quality of calculating the geographical position of the target by continuous sending, and opposite which the other low-frequency sounds and the voices of the agents at a distance are also sent. From January 2025 to March 25, 2025, the subject experienced dizziness, blocked sinuses, headaches, contractions of the neck and nape muscles, a general bad condition dominated by general weakness, restlessness, even insecurity. Later, starting on March 25, 2020, on the evening of that day, the remote agents proceeded to create scenarios, real radio plays using computer-modified voices which would be heard by the subject's inner ear to make him believe that he was hearing voices and that he had gone crazy. The Foreign Intelligence Service intended from the very beginning to transform the subject into a person removed from society with a disturbed mind who would spend the rest of his life in a mental hospital, whom no one would believe, and even to push him to a possible suicide in order to erase any trace. Today, January 18, 2025, almost 5 years later, the subject, Andrei Hagherlacher, still receives the program, but he is mentally and physically healthy as a result of an extraordinary resistance and intelligence in the face of the continuous action of the project's propagators. The project is headed by Mr. Gabriel Vlase, head of the Foreign Intelligence Service, along with Mr. Eugen Mihail Nedelcu, the Director of Operations of the SIE. The two people named above, along with several others, are the only ones in Romania who know about this project, without excluding the subject of the project, Mr. Andrei Hagherlacher, who is the author of this report. The team of remote agents has named, on several occasions, several people, including politicians, inconvenient journalists, and businessmen, whom they subsequently target with this project. But the project is blocked by Mr. Andrei Hagherlacher, who cannot be released because he knows about it. Andrei Hagherlacher spent a life reading books and letting his mind think freely, often remaining in a state of meditation and solitude with himself. After a beautiful, carefree childhood, followed by ordinary days with homework and lessons in general school and high school, on a day of July 22, 2003, he discovered through revelation his faith in God and began to become an intelligent and strong man. In 2004, he was already admitted to the Faculty of Sociology at the University of Bucharest with a grade of 10, and after 4 years he graduated from this faculty as the head of his class, with a general average of 9.84, being recognized as a model among students. Passionate about the sociological analysis of society and the analysis of social data, especially through social statistics programs, but at the same time having a keen conscience as a Romanian citizen, he turned as a hobby to the analysis of information in the field of national security, also graduating with a master's degree in security studies at the same faculty. He did not follow the path of a doctorate, considering that he must first give something back to his country, and only then obtain an academic title, excluded from the very beginning due to the poor selection of values in Romania in those years. Andrei Hagherlacher focused on writing, created blogs, and had a Facebook page called Andrei Romania, where, starting around 2015, he began to analyze news and compose analyses and reports in connection with events of public interest. Thanks to his genius, Mr. Andrei Hagherlacher arrived, in many of his analyses, at ideas and conclusions that were the subject of state secrets without himself having had direct access to such documents. A reader of Dostoevsky, Heidegger, Nietzsche since his university days, but also an admirer of the Russian director Andrei Tarkovsky, whose films he even screened to students. Andrei Hagherlacher was from the very beginning displeased with the Romanian Intelligence services. Not necessarily the freely assumed cultural passions, but his lively intelligence and character, not subject to any authority, made him incompatible with the raison d'etre of the Romanian intelligence services of the time. Having come into possession of some declassified CIA documents, namely the Stargate project, which referred to the action of some remote operators, Andrei Hagherlacher was misunderstood as knowing about the existence of something similar in Romania. This being the main reason why he received the project of destroying the person. A destructive project not only because he knew something, but because he had and has a very complex and gifted personality, through which he endangered the establishment. The voices of the agents at a distance reached the target's inner ear, traveling tens and hundreds of kilometers. They whisper unspeakable things in the ear, insults, blasphemies. The agents respond to every thought of the person in a negative way. The person cannot lead a normal life. The torture intervenes when the subject wants to watch television, read a book, or participate in a public meeting. He is allowed only a few things, as the crazy establishment decided. However, Andrei Hagherlacher behaved with dignity, without becoming violent or hooligan, as recommended by the agents at a distance, who wanted to compromise themselves at least. Andrei Hagherlacher notified all the institutions involved in preserving national security in Romania about this project and what he was suffering from, but he received no response. However, he continued to resist, managing to work at 3 companies in these 5 years, with breaks until he was no longer allowed to work through torture. His heroic resistance, however, determined that the remote agents, who had also been involved for almost 5 years in the same painful, tiring and expensive project, also got tired. 2 of the remote agents who started the project committed suicide. The others are waiting to get rid of Mr. Gabriel Vlas and Mr. Eugen Mihail Nedelcu, the heads of the Foreign Intelligence Service, who forced them to give the subject the project day after day without stopping, in the idea that the latter would no longer resist and would commit suicide. The agents at a distance have gone over to the subject, mostly desperate to escape the project administration and start a new life. Andrei Hagherlacher telling them that if he escapes safely, he will not follow them after that. But the bosses at the Foreign Intelligence Service want something else, it seems, to be dismissed and then punished with anger by those who still know or will find out about what they are doing.